Along to round number 14 of the Inside Line Racing League season here on Xbox One. It is the Italian Grand Prix. It's round number 14 of this season. It's a beautiful day here at Monza. I'm Ginger Andy, and joining me in the commentary box we have Joe, also known as the Amazement. Wow, what a pleasure to have you in the commentary box joining me today. Up the text, Joe.
Oh, it's brilliant. Thanks for that warm introduction. As I say, apologise for the lateness. There's been technical difficulties. We're going to put it that way. But yeah, so we're running halfway through qualifying, which, I mean, I think Limitless is quick as 14.6 there. So yeah, bit of an odd start, I will admit. And as I say, I've only done Tier 1, the Chinese Grand Prix, which actually was quite good. So hopefully it's good. Normally I'm in Tier 2, so I don't have a clue what's really happened in Tier 1 at all. All I know is Prix is probably leading the championship because the standings aren't up to date either. It's a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, the standings aren't up to date, but I can confirm that that is correct. Velocity Prix is, of course, the championship leader, and he's out there on the racetrack at the moment here at Monza, pushing hard, going through the chicane. And yeah, if you guys want a clue if you're tuning in as to why we might be slightly late, just take a look at who's in 15th place on the left-hand screen. Yep, that is me. I accidentally clicked the wrong button and decided to go for a couple of qualifying laps. So that is how we're slightly late, but I'm going to have to jump out of the lobby at the end of this qualifying session and jump back in case there's any interruption. You'll know why. So Velocity Prix at the moment at this Italian Grand Prix circuit, heading down towards the Parabolica. It's certainly one of the classics on the Formula 1 calendar, right up there with the likes of Silverstone, the likes of Spa, Suzuka, Monaco. It's one that we always look forward to. Joe, what do you think of this racetrack? Is it one you enjoy coming to?
It is definitely one of the better ones. It was one of real life as well, even not being much of a sort of Ferrari supporter. But I would absolutely love to go, as I say, it is one of the classic tracks, always good for race. You can always follow close. I'm expecting the race today to be, a bit of a slipstream fest. Hopefully a lot of people are close and not a lot of gaps. And say you don't know if there's going to be a bit of weather as well, because that can happen as well. I'm surprised. It's interesting. Surprise is the only real person not to set a lap on. We're not going to include yourself there, although I think you would have given it a good go. I reckon you could have got it in the 18s there, Andy. He's on a lap now, and Ted's not qualified either. He's already retired, so I don't know if he crashed or anything. I wasn't really watching. I was busy sort of laughing for the first 10 minutes of this qualifying session.
I think it's because he's Ted Kravitz this weekend. The commentators there, Ted Kravitz as well, feisty Ted this weekend apparently, because that's why he's not done a lap either, perhaps. But we've got 6 minutes and 36 seconds to go. It's TRL on top as things stand with a 1 minute 18.496, some 2/10 quicker than that of Sira at the moment. So things looking pretty good. Soft tyres in use for everyone out there on the track today. And we see quite often that it's a 1 lap run on the mediums at the end of the session. Not today. It runs on a set of the soft tyres. A Surprise comes across the line, and he now takes top spot in the order by around half a tenth of a second. A 1 minute 18.456 for the championship leader. And as to be said, Joe, we're not surprised by that big effort there from the title leader, and he sets the bar high.
No, not at all. As I say, it didn't look a very tidy lap, but it was interesting that he couldn't get a time on the board until then. So, it's good that he's got that banker in, because it is a very easy track to get cuts on. Every single chicane there has the potential to sort of ruin your lap. So it is crucial, as I say, getting that time on the board, which, say, everybody as well. Morso hasn't really done a lap, let's be honest. That would probably not even be a good lap in the wet, let alone the dry. But I think he coming up to Parabolica. What is he going to do?
Yeah, we'll jump to Merso briefly then. Let's have a little look then as he makes his round the final corner in the Alfa Romeo, one of 2 home. Oh, well, 3 you could say, with Toro Rosso as well. Teams that were at home here, you could say. Merso goes 9th quickest. Limitless is in the final corner, coming across the line now. He improves by 0.03 of a second, but it's not enough to topple the top man, Velocity Prix, who stays on top in qualifying. So Surprise and Limitless going early on this run. Their main rivals, the likes of Sira and Famous, Verstappen, João Pedro, Overkill's Leopard, all still in the pits. And as you were mentioning there, Merso jumping up into 9th place. It's very, very tight in the midfield. Look at that. From what's 5th place all the way down to 11th, covered by, what, less than 0.2 of a second? That is incredibly tight, isn't it?
Yeah, that is remarkable. I say it is one of the tracks which does bring the field a lot closer together. So the lack of corners does generally do that, but you still have to get around them quick. But I am still amazed that, as you say, the field spread is not that tight at all. I mean, 1st to 14th is less than a second, which really does show, the quality which is in Tier 1. I'd say it is absolutely remarkable the times these guys do, especially, when you consider the other tiers. You think they're going quick. Just go to Tier 1, it's absolutely mad. It is just like an Esports, race, really.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have Esports quality drivers. I mean, Limitless says, coach of Renault, surprise. It's not going to shock me. He's going to be on the grid in 2020. If a team doesn't sign him up, I'll be majorly shocked. Say you would see Cira in there if he, had the wheel and wasn't from Brazil. Say Infamous has been there, I'm very sure. Qualified, for the pro draft, and I thought shouldn't have got a seat. But yeah, there is esports quality drivers here, and the rest of the drivers are very good as well. So very interesting, but very close grid. I'm not sure. Do you see this often in Tier 1, where it is that close, a second between top 14?
Well, we tend to see it tight. We do tend to see it tight. Maybe slightly more than a second from time to time, but it's usually the top 9 or 10 cars covered by around 6, 7 tenths maybe. So it's slightly less than that here, you could say. And then it tends to start to spread out a little bit, where everyone outside the top 10 tends to be scrapping for the final points at the end of the Grand Prix. But it is certainly very tight to see everyone as close as that. So it's good to see. And as you mentioned previously, it is a racetrack where without very many corners, it's easy to follow. It's easy to there's not much time to be made up in the corners. So we'll keep an eye on who can take the top spot here in qualifying. I'm just going to have to unplug my control.
I think he was going to say unplug his controller. Off there, but yeah, see what is going on then. Yellow sector 1 and 2. I'm not sure he was gone on board with either, which is really annoying because you can't tell who. Normally you can get an idea, but I think everyone's just really on an outlook now. I think Cira is the only one actually on a flying lap as he started it. We're back. You're back, Andy.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to unplug my controller there. It cut out on me. It was, basically, we're having all sorts of issues, aren't we? Really are today. But anyway, Cira on a quick lap, the Brazilian driver. He's found 2/100ths of a second through that first sector. He'll need to find more than that through the remaining couple of sectors if he wants to be on pole position this weekend. Tyrrell Limitless so far showing a real turn of pace. He's been off the boil in recent weeks, but he's second quickest so far. He's still in the pits, and I don't think he'll be coming out unless he makes it out now. He has now started an outlap, but we'll stick with Cira, who's making his way around this legendary circuit underneath the old banking, which I once scaled and nearly fell down when I was at Monza last year, and now through the Ascari chicane goes Cira, pushing on as hard as he can. João Pedro in the way. Oh, he's getting a toe there. Some Brazilian friendship there. And João Pedro gives his fellow countryman a toe as Cira makes his way now down to the famous Parabolica corner and now winds his way round and up towards the line. Remember, take the shortest route. That's exactly what he does. Is Cira on pole? No, he's not. He's a fraction away and he stays third quickest. He's still behind Limitless. He's still behind Surprise. But who else is out there on a quick lap, Joe? Who can you see?
Well, I've just seen Infamous there, first Lesmo corner, go out onto the gravel, and he's slowing down. He might be able to get another lap in, he's going to have to save his ERS, but that's that run over. Surprise, it's a lap he can further extend his pole position. So João Pedro started one as well. What's his first sector going to be? He's just going to come up to the split. He is half a tenth down on his previous best, so not looking too good there. I'm struggling to try and see anyone actually improving. Reynolds is on a slight improvement. 3 tenths up. What's he going to do for the second sector? He's about a tenth and a half down. So, to say that's smallest margin, a tenth and a half would get him up to P5 on the grid, and he's only P10. What are you seeing?
He's off. Reynolds, he's off. We cut to him there, and he's just gone flying off, and he's ripped both front wheels off of the chassis. And that is a big accident there on the exit of the Ascari chicane. He was chasing the time, chasing, and he's got it all wrong. Overkills has gone fourth quickest, and Famous now starts another quick lap. TRL Limitless is going again. Surprise has seen the flag. Limitless has found 5 thousandths of a second in the first sector. Remember, he only needs 11 thousandths So he's halfway there. Sierra had left the section, he's rejoined, so is Limitless here. Going to be the surprise of qualifying to pull out a pole position. Here he goes then for the second Lesmo, all over the curve and more, taking plenty of the AstroTurf as he now makes his way down towards the Ascari chicane. Keep your eyes on the top right hand of your screen, and he's lost time. 0.2 of a second drop all through that second Lesmo where he made a mistake, and I think the time has got away from Limitless. Things looking good for Veloci Surprise then. In Famous, finding a fraction of time. Let's go to him then. Limitless ain't going to do it, no way, if he's 2 tenths down after 2 sectors. In Famous then, in the Ferrari, in front of the Tifosi, in front of the home crowd. He's currently 7th quickest. Can he move up onto the first couple of rows on the grid? Oh, onto the front row!
Oh.
And he does the same time as Surprise! Oh, wow! Where did that come from Infamous? 7th in the grid he was, and he somehow, by the merest of fractions, misses out on pole. The Tifosi absolutely loved that, but they would have went a hell of a lot louder, Joe, had he stuck it on pole. That is what you call fine margins.
Well, I can't remember the last time I see the two people on the front row with exactly the same time. That is absolutely remarkable that he's managed to do that. Oh, he'll be happy with that. I mean, front row start, I mean, you can't complain, but he's 1,000th off. He's 1,000th off. I mean, how can you explain how to gain 1,000th of a second? But let's say Limitless, 11,000. Look at the top 4. Look at that. 32,000 team top 4. We didn't even see Syrah do that time in 4th. Wow. That is absolutely remarkable. I mean, not too much you can say, but the problem you've got now is you need to leave.
Oh, yes. I'm getting too carried away.
Yes, you do.
I'm getting too carried away with this.
No. That's good. We just don't want you to be on the grid. Yep, that'd be a bit awkward.
Well, I'm going to leave now. I don't want to be on the grid, folks, because if you ever seen me on a Formula 1 grid, it usually doesn't end well. So there you go. I've left the session, but as you say, Joe, that is incredibly tight. 3 hundredths of a second, I should say, covering the top few drivers, and I need another invite. What is going on here?
Hang on. Bear with me.
No problem.
I can do that.
No problem. But yeah, wow, that's probably one of the best qualifying sessions of the season. We only saw 9 minutes of it, but it was incredibly tight at the end. I was expecting Infamous to find a spot on the first couple of rows of the grid, but, you know, to put it on the front row and almost topple Surprise, even caught the Tifosi by surprise, I think. Unbelievable effort there. I'm joining back, I'm spectating, and we're going to be back for the formation lap then. But yeah, the top 10, we should mention, all qualified on the soft tyres. You know, it is the preferred tyre to qualify on. Several drivers inviting me. Surprised to invite me to his party. I think that's a mistake. I don't think he meant that. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to hear me while he's trying to win a race, but hey ho. Anyway, we are back. I am back, and I'm on the grid. I take it you guys are on the formation lap. Is that correct?
5 seconds to go, and it is going to be at least a dry start. Again, this does look like a good day to go racing. Doesn't look like a cloud in sight, to be honest. So that's good news. So softs for everyone. Let's just quickly check, see what people outside the top 10 are going to do, because that... Yeah, it's just a mixture of softs and mediums. There's no one on the hard tyre. You've got Reynolds, Drelix, Rhythms, and Ted on the medium. So, not really too much. I think it's going to be a softer medium. Yeah, pretty comfortable. It's never a high tyre wear track, is it?
No, it's never a high tyre wear track at all. So, 4 drivers, as you say, as you've just named, all going for the medium compound. The rest opting for a set of soft tyres. Joe, what would you do in this situation? I take it, you know, it's not really much of a difference because of the nature of the racetrack, but, you know, if you were starting outside the top 10 and you had 3 tyre choice, what would you go for personally? What would be your choice?
You have to go for the alternate strategy, really, because the first couple of laps, it's going to be very difficult to exploit the performance of the soft tyre, because everyone else in front has got it. Although yours would be a lap fresher, it's going to be very difficult. So whilst you're going to be bunched up, because let's be honest, Reynolds isn't going to go from 11th to 1st on the first lap, is he? No. Hopefully that's a good commentator's curse. That's not going to happen, so it'd be wiser to do that. Of course, you've got to play a bit of the long game and say, you can have a bit of clean air, do your own thing when everybody else in front pits, and bolt on a set of soft end, and you never know, you might catch a lucky safety car as well. You have to do something different if you're starting at the back, unless you maybe, you know, Surprise or, you know, Sierra Limitless, anyone like that who might be able to carve their way through. You would definitely have to do something different to get to the front. There's no way you can expect to do the same strategy and progress unless, you know, faster than the cars in front, which in qualifying, if you're not, it's going to be very difficult to get in front. Say, it's a bit of a hard track to overtake in a weird way, I think, personally. League racing, it probably is a bit easier than real life, but it's harder than some tracks just due to the actual high-speed nature of it. You're always going quickly down the straight, so difficult.
Yeah, well, when you're going quickly down the straights, and you know there's many of them, everyone's going flat out. It can be tough, but the car's now lining up.
I think we've lost.
There we go. Yeah, I'm back though. Well, thank goodness for that, but I am back and we are ready for the start of the Grand Prix. Lap number 1 out of 27 here at the Italian Grand Prix in Monza. A Ferrari on the front row. Can Infamous do what Charles Leclerc did as the 5 red lights go out and we are racing at Monza. It's a long run down towards the first corner and Infamous looks to have got a good start. Surprise comes across the cover and covers well. Sierra now in the Alfa Romeo sweeping round the outside of the other Italian manufacturer and taking second place there is the Brazilian driver up ahead of Infamous as Surprise streaks away out front as they make their way through Curva Grande for the first time. Surprise leads them down to the chicane with Sierra second and Infamous third. TRL Limitless down to 4th on this opening lap. Overkill's 5th and Leopard follows them through in 6th. What are the big changes on this opening lap? Doesn't seem to have been too much contact. Sergio Rosberg, he has gained 3 places already, and as he always seems to do outside the top 10, he loves to climb up through the field, and he's got 3 places already on this opening lap. Pretty clean stuff. Great start though from Sierra Joe.
Yeah, Sierra absolutely fantastic on the start. I think Infamous just got a bit boxed in and Sierra just took advantage of that right round the outside. Infamous could do absolutely nothing as we see a move near the back there. Bruno getting past Rhythms there for 14. I don't think there was any major contact near the back of the grid. I was trying to look for it and say the leaders is what you're more focused on. And Surprise nearly got a second lead already from Sierra. That's a remarkable first lap. Things go in the way of the championship leader, definitely. I don't think anyone particularly got wing damage. If they did, it was going to be very hard to catch it. No one's pitting on the first lap. That is a good sign. There's a massive gap between... Is that just Dralitz's car just... Yeah, for some reason his car just shot up the timing order. As Bastek and Cyril Rosberg going to combat through the first chicane. And Rosberg gains another position. He's always a first lap charger, isn't he, Rosberg? He always gains 3 or 4 spots.
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
Flying. He's flying. Through goes Rosberg, up into the 8th place. That's 4 places gained now in little over 4 miles. Absolutely astonishing. As Leopard there was really going heavy. Oh no! Overkill has lost it on the curb. Got far too greedy. Goes round for a spin and he'll drop all the way to the foot of the field. Round he went and that's contact. I think there's debris on the racetrack too. Someone else might have lost a front wing and all that mayhem. W.R. Verstappen it might be. Who has got problems? Has he got front wing damage? Yes, he does. So he hits the spinning overkills, and now he's prey to Rosberg, who's gained another couple of places as a result of the contact, and he's up now into 6th place. 6th place, 6th place he's gained. He's absolutely flying, but overkills far too much curb through the chicane, lost it, and Verstappen couldn't avoid him, and he's got serious wing damage, and he drops down to 7th place. What a disaster for the Williams driver. What's he going to do? Is he going to come into the pits? He's got to come in, even on a track like this. Front wing damage is just an absolute nightmare, and he does come in. What a shame for Verstappen, who could do nothing but slide into the spinning car in front of him. As now we've got a battle down the start-finish straight, the 2 McLarens, BRL João Pedro do Brasil, going down the inside of EVR Reynolds, and he's got the move done in the papaya orange McLaren, moving through into 8th place. Reynolds down to 9th. It's all happening on the first couple of laps here in Monza as Reynolds tries to come back at João Pedro. He can't do that, and we've now lost overkills from the race, who just got far too heavy on the curb and went for a spin down the chicane, Joe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I was watching it from a distance. It looked like there was potentially contact between the two, but if he was actually on board of it, then, as I say, there wasn't too much. Say, Leopard sort of got away from that, and, well, he got the charge in Rosberg behind him, who just seems like he's going to catch him at some point, which, let's say, remarkable that he's managed to carve his way through the field and not get caught up in any of that mess. But going back to the front, so much action in the midfield, 1.5 the gap to the first two, and Infamous has stayed with Sura. That pace from Infamous in qualifying is staying true. He's been able to catch up, and Limitless is keeping within DRS range of that podium as well. So he's hoping the two in front battle, he can get involved now. Leopard is going to have a bit of a hard time, I think, catching up to that. But yellow flag sector 1 and 2, I'm not sure what that is about. Maybe Overkill's car's just retiring for whatever reason it does that. But yeah, place wrong time. He's bolted on a set of hard tyres. Probably going to go to the end, but damage limitation. If he scores points from there, that will be a very, very determined and gritty drive. But just can't see it, unfortunately. Yeah, what do you make of that start, Andy? I mean, it was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was extremely clean. The first couple of laps from everyone in the field, and then things just got a little bit too much for Overkills, who just lit up the rears and got too much onto the curb at that second chicane. Round he went, and Verstappen could do nothing but slide into him and damage his wing. But an interesting start, a blistering start though from Veloci Surprise to open out such a lead this early on. That could be race defining already. I don't like saying things like that so early in the Grand Prix, but it's ominous signs from Surprise towards his rivals. But Sira, as you mentioned, struggling to keep the pace with Surprise, and it's Infamous, the man who did the exact same time as Surprise in qualifying, that looks the quicker here, and the Ferrari driver is looking like going for a move potentially on this lap as they come out of the Parabolica. One Italian manufacturer is about to battle another yet again as they go down through the start-finish straight, and Infamous is gaining, he's coming cruising alongside, and he's flying past down into turn 1. Infamous takes second place. Now, Joe, the big question is, as Rosberg continues his charge past Leopard up into 5th place, that man is on a mission once again today. He loves a Sunday drive, doesn't he?
It is definitely a Sunday man, which does actually suit him being in that car. Being in the Force Indy, they always seem to come good on race day. The qualifying, not so much. Say, 4th and 5th are the racing points now, which I don't think you could have predicted, considering where they actually qualified. We're going to get in the first time penalty of the day. I've not seen anyone hop up with that. So, Sira and Infamous, if they're smart, they'll work together, because Surprise is going to struggle to pull away from two people which are just as quick, bit of slipstreaming and DRSing as well. That cap's come down to 1.2, and that will continue to come down. I very much doubt Surprise has got that much pace he can keep behind these two if they work together. If they battle, they've got no chance. If they're smart, they can get themselves in contention for the win. I think they both know that. I hope they both know that. And say Limitless is praying that they just do that as well, because he doesn't really want them to battle too much. He wants them to battle enough so he can keep in touch with them, because he's struggling. 9/10 off, about a second. He's going to have a bit of a job to catch up to these two, but he could be in contention for the win as well. And say penalties, very easy to get a penalty. I'm sure this race won't get decided on that, but it could. It really could get decided on who doesn't get a lot of penalties, Andy. As Reynolds picks up one as I speak. Good cursor.
Reynolds gets the penalty. I think he's just been overtaken as well by Murso on that lap, who's on the soft compound tyre. Also the overtake, of course, as you were suspecting. Sira retaking Infamous, going down the start-finish straight, which looks like a planned move, as you suggested. Good spot, that. Gap coming down now to 1.1. And it does seem that way. They're playing this very clever, dragging each other along onto the back of Veloci Surprise, and bit by bit they're chipping away at that margin, and very soon they'll be below 1 second, and things going to plan for Sira and Infamous at the moment. Is Infamous close enough this time round though? That's the question, Joe.
Yeah, he wouldn't be close enough at this moment, I don't think. He wanted to try and save ERS. It's very interesting watching their ERS usage. If you look at the top two, below 20% coming into Parabolica, of course they do regain that under braking. Look at Infamous though, that's 70%. He's been remarkable on that. As I say, that is absolutely crucial for lap time. Given the next couple of laps, Infamous is going to make a few moves, definitely, with that usage, because there isn't too much, the top two can do. If you don't have any battery power, absolutely defenceless.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that is interesting. Rosberg, he is closing that gap to Limitless. It is coming down slightly, but if he can get himself involved in that fight for the podium, that will be absolutely remarkable. From where he was, I don't think anyone could have predicted that at all, really. But he is having an absolutely stunning race. Oh, no, he's not. He is not having a stunning race because he's managed to nearly lose it and lose about a second and a half. Oh, I shouldn't speak.
Oh,
we
dear.
just curse people.
Ah, well, it's a slight error. It's not a race ruiner for CRL Rosberg, but a little slide will waken him up as he runs in 5th place. But yeah, Leopard now a lot closer to the rear of him than he was before. But they are clawing into Surprise now. They were getting it just under a second briefly. I don't think they're going to get it under a second this time round, but that was another great spot, Joe. Look at those battery usages, as you can see them now, folks. 14-15%, Surprise and Sierra, and Famous right up at 70, Limitless up at 50% as well. So, you'd fancy the top 4 all to close up really tightly together here in the next couple of laps. 1 minute Surprise tried to make a break for it. It hasn't paid off, and now the rest of them are coming back at him quite quickly on lap 8 now, out of 27, and he just is above 1 second. And as I say that, it dips back down to 9/10, and this could be crucial then for the next DRS zone. Will Sierra and Infamous get that DRS to the car in front? That could be key for how this race is going to pan out. Lap 8 then, let's take stock. Surprise leads from Sierra in 2nd, Infamous 3rd, TRL Limitless is in 4th. CRL Rosberg, who is at a flying start up through the field, is up into 5th place. Leopard is in 6th, keeping him very honest after a moment on this very corner on the previous lap for the car ahead. BRL João Pedro is 7th, 2.3 back, then Bastic in 8th, Merceau 9th, and Reynolds rounds out the top 10. But look at this, TRL Limitless now, right on the tail of Infamous. Sierra now, only 6/10 behind Surprise, and I think it's fair to say it's came true, and it has all closed up. Maybe Infamous made a mistake on that lap, because he's now more than a second behind Sierra, and now Limitless, with DRS, and Infamous does not have it, will fancy his chances, maybe coming out of the Parabolica to move up into 3rd place then. So what will Limitless do as they make their way round the final corner? Is he going to be close enough to get a run on Infamous? Whoa, big slide there for Limitless coming out of the final corner, just about holds it all together, and Infamous pits in the Ferrari. He's going for an aggressive undercut strategy, Joe. Wow, this is big. He needs a big pit stop if the Tifosi want to be cheating their man into the lead of the race.
Yeah, he needs a big outlap as well. He should come out with clean air as well, which will be crucial for his race. I don't think anyone's really going to affect it. João Pedro coming into the pits as well for a set of mediums, going for the undercut as well. See if he can get himself in front of some of the people in the midfield. But yeah, that was very exciting. I think Limitless, I don't know if he was relieved or not. He probably isn't relieved, because he's not going to get any slipstream on DRS help. The top 2 have closed right up though, 0.3 of a second gap. Sierra definitely wasn't close enough on the last lap to make an overtake, but he is doing all he can. Surprises, well, as I say, he tried to bolt. I think he just tried to use the energy as much as he could. It did work. He wasn't under pressure for quite a while, but now Sierra breathing down his neck, he looks, nailed on for an overtake. It's going to be interesting. Are either these two going to pit, or Sierra getting a bit of a swap on the exit of Ascari? Are these two going to pick to cover off Infamous? That is the big question.
I would say Sierra more likely than Surprise. Surprise tends to be more calm in these situations. He tends to wait it out a little longer, but that looks like a angle for the pit lane for both. So there you go. They are going to try and cover off the Ferrari as Sierra tries to gain an extra couple of yards on the pit lane entrance line. TRL Limitless has followed them in as well. So here come the pit stops. Who's going to be quickest in the pit lane? Sierra makes his way in. Surprise, Limitless, they're all in the pits. As we shuffle back onto the racetrack, where is that Ferrari of Infamous? He's coming out of the Parabolica now. This is key for the race. Surprise, I think, is still ahead of Sierra, who's still ahead of Limitless according to our timing screens. But let's keep an eye on this Ferrari. Is the scarlet red car going to take the lead? He's going to get ahead of Limitless as he was before, but he's still behind Surprise and Sierra, who follow onto the racetrack just in front, and the 4 of them are all together in a line just as they were before in the exact same order. And Surprise and Sierra will be relieved at that one, Joe.
Yeah, Infamous though is going to have his tyres fully under temperature. I think they were just about holding through the second sector. It's going to be very difficult to forge an overtake there, but you would say, it's going to be a 4-horse race for the win if Limitless can keep in touch, and I believe he can. He's got to keep that gap under a second at the detection point, and I think he would just about do so now. Reynolds did pick up a second penalty, but Rosberg, from where he was, is leading the race, albeit for maybe only this lap. I'll be surprised if he doesn't pit within the next 1 or 2, considering the soft tyres he's on. But he gets to lead the race. Reynolds will be in the lead then once the 2 soft runners pit. So he was the first car on the medium tyres, on the alternate strategy. Interesting to see if it works out. We can't really tell at the moment, as indeed the top 2 do pit. The soft tyres just haven't got anything left at all. But yeah, Sira, is he going to be able to make an overtake 4 times back? Coming round Parabolica, he's got a decent run as well. That ERS usage, Surprise really hasn't recovered much at all. Is Sira going to make a move then into the first chicane? Rosberg, Surprise thinks about defending it, but no, he is a bit too far back. I think Sira might be playing the long game, as I say, just keeping that, you know, power usage at a minimum, being able to save it from the car in front, because that is the big thing Surprise doesn't have. He does not have that slipstream, he does not have that DRS. He's having to punch the hole through the air, use as much power as possible, and around this track, the dirty air is just not really a thing at all. You can just follow. So, Infamous!
Oh, Infamous making a mistake, and he's off the road, and he's lost the place to TRL Limitless. A mistake, a lapse of concentration from the Ferrari driver, and the hearts are sinking in the grandstand here. The Tifosi in tears as Infamous trundles through the gravel trap at the second chicane, and his chances of victory have gone up in the dirt. And that's a real mistake from him, and he drops now to 4th place and now picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, lap 11 is the lap where it all falls apart for the Ferrari driver. Big mistake, lapse of concentration, perhaps too much curb, Joe.
I didn't see it, but that is most likely. But we still have an Italian constructor winning this race, because Sira now has an almighty run on Surprise. He is surely going to get the move done. Surprise, there's not much point defending. Sira takes the lead of this race then on the beginning of lap 12. Surprise pretty defenceless there. He is going to have to stick behind the Alfa Romeo driver and see if he can forge a long race-long battle. Sira's going to try and make a break for it, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Limitless is hoping them to go wheel to wheel for a bit longer, and the overtakes aren't that simple. But
yeah.
Infamous, it's such a shame because he's having such a good run of it as well, and I don't believe he's... Oh, Surprise!
Oh, now that's big. That's very big. Surprise, 3-second time penalty. Cutting the corners, down at that second chicane. It's caused a few people problems. It's caused Overkill's retirement. It's caused Infamous trundling through the gravel. And now it's cost Surprise 3 seconds with a time penalty. And could that change the shape of the Grand Prix? It probably will, as Sira now has the lead, has the track position, and doesn't have a time penalty. That is huge.
Now that is my word, and say Sira is going to get DRS and slipstream from Rhythms, who hasn't pitted yet either, and I can't imagine he's going to be into the pits this lap, so you might be able to get, you know, a bit of free track time here. I can't imagine Rhythms going to put too much of a fight up. You know, I don't think this is his race. As Sira actually sets fastest lap for good measure. Yet slipstream DRS, that is an absolute dream for any race leader. As Surprise is not going to be able to get past the Toro Rosso driver before the first chicane. He should. You know, Rivens, maybe if he's smart, will just let him go, just run his own race. As say he's lowered his power usage, just letting him by. That is pretty smart as well for him to do. But yeah, absolutely race defining. I'm just going to quickly check, actually, see where Sira sits in all this as well. He does have a couple of warnings himself, so he has to be careful. But yeah, I did mention that it is an easy track to get warnings at and get penalties at, and unfortunately, one of the race leaders has done so. I mean, Limitless, if he's smart, might be in with a shout of it on penalties if it all comes good for him. You never know, Andy. As Verstappen's picked up 2 penalties in a lap.
How many warnings has Limitless got, and how many warnings has Sira got? That's the big question.
Sira's got 2.
And
Limitless has got none.
Well,
Nothing.
You're absolutely right there. That's huge. Sira, who's under a lot of pressure on their track from Veloci Surprise, he just needs one mistake, one lock-up, one error where he goes that little bit wider and then has to cut across the chicane, and Limitless will be within striking distance, almost, of these top 2. He is 2.9 off the back of Surprise, so he really needs them to scrap. His pace in the second phase has not been great so far from TRL Limitless, and he is being dropped by the top 2 as things stand, as Surprise tries everything in his power to force Sira into another time penalty. Speaking of penalties, there's WR Verstappen retiring from the race as he picks up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So, Sierra and Surprise pulling away from Limitless, but the next big question is this. Will Limitless gain on them? Because Sierra and Surprise are going to have to negotiate Draylix and Reynolds soon, and by the time Limitless gets to those two, they'll be in the pits. So that's an opportunity for Limitless to gain some time back, Joe, isn't it?
It is, but at the same time, you know, because Dirty Air's not that effective, and I think Draylix and Reynolds are smart enough. They're not going to be racing them. It might be free track time, like Sierra got from the car rhythms. Going a bit down the field anyway, Rosberg is behind Leopard now on track. Leopard got a 1-lap undercut, Rosberg going a lap longer on the fresher tyres, so that is going to be a race-long battle. João Pedro and Bastek are also in their trainers. Bastek for some reason decided to steer on the grass there on the run up to Parabolica. I'm not sure what he was doing there. Maybe he might have a wheel issue or just lent a bit on it. I'm not too sure. But that is a good 4-car train for P8 at the moment, but it will become P5 once a few of the cars ahead pit. Yellow's in sector 1 and 2. I'm not sure what that's about, Andy. I don't know if you've seen anything.
Here comes Rosberg around the outside of Leopard into the first chicane.
Oh, what's happening
and then we get a big lag spike, and it causes all sorts of chaos. Leopard then slides wide. Rosberg now losing places as João Pedro and Bastek swarm onto the back of the racing point. João Pedro then on the outside into the chicane. Rosberg on the inside breaks that a little bit later and says, no you don't. I'm having a safe place, and back through he goes. But it looked like there was a lag spike there as Sierra picks up the 3-second time penalty he was worried about, and now he is going to be racing Surprise on the racetrack. So Sierra passes Draylix into Ascari. That's key. That's a big move and a crucial part of the circuit. Now Surprise needs to get through as well. All the while Limitless might be gaining on them while they try and negotiate this traffic. It could be key for the race because Limitless at the minute is not within range to pounce on these two who both have time penalties. Surprise eases past Draylix and now is onto the tail of Sierra, who is not quite within DRS range of the car in front. Is Surprise fancying his chances down this straight to go for a move? DRS open on that Mercedes. Is he going to go for it into turn 1? He's gaining, he's having a look, but no more than that, and he stays put on lap 16 out of 27, but this has all been levelled up. It's like an equaliser for Wigan in a football match, because it's now 3 penalties each, 3 seconds each for Sierra and Surprise. It's game on again, Joe.
It is. I think Sierra had a bit of a moment on the exit of Ascari on that lap. It just allowed Surprise to get through there. Interesting. Surprise was actually lifting on the straight there. He did not want to overtake. He wants to manage that deployment as they are catching out Reynolds at probably a really good time. You don't want to catch someone at the start of the second sector. I think Sierra's going to make another move into the Ascari chicane. Reynolds isn't going to fight this at all. So Sierra again getting another ideal move. Surprise is going to have to sit behind, not going to be able to overtake here, but so I don't think it's going to affect him too much. But Sierra's catching the traffic at an ideal time. And for Limitless, it's not really good because, as I say, they're just getting that free track time from the cars in front. As Surprise didn't get the overtake done into Parabolica, so that's very interesting. Is Reynolds going to pit? I thought for some reason Sierra was going to pit there. No, Reynolds is going to stay out there. I thought he might pit. So is Reynolds going to try a cheeky move for the lead of this race?
Oh, look at this.
Is he going to try it? Sierra's having to defend.
Oh, go on. Round the outside. Here they are, Reynolds retaking the lead. Oh, would you believe that? Surprise now. Picks up a 3-second time penalty. Sierra there, it's backfired on him. He was trying to give Reynolds the tow, so Surprise couldn't get through. In the end, Reynolds says, thank you very much, I'll take the tow and I'll retake the lead of the race. Astonishing stuff, absolutely astonishing. Sierra trying to give Reynolds the tow to stop Surprise getting through. Reynolds says, okay, I'll stick it up into mode 4 and I'll upset the apple cart. Reynolds retakes the lead. Sierra back down to second, and once again the silver arrow is right on his tail, but look at Reynolds, makes a complete hash of the second Lesmo, and now Sierra will breeze by as Surprise sits there waiting. Reynolds moves aside, decides no, I'm not fighting this anymore, and Surprise is up into second place, and it's back to as we were. But that was a breathless couple of corners. But Surprise does have another time penalty. He got it down at the first chicane, and now he really is determined to get past Sierra, because he is once again 3 seconds further back than what it is at the moment because of that extra time penalty on lap 17 out of 27. Most surprised now, flick it up into mode 5. He's sure, wow, he's going to go for it down the start-finish straight to try and take the lead and take the initiative in this Italian Grand Prix. He sweeps past and through on the racetrack to lead, but, big but, big but, he has a 6-second time penalty to Sierra's 3. Meanwhile, down the start-finish straight, it's very, very close between Rosberg, VRL, João Pedro, Bastic and Leopard. Very tight there as Murso now passes Reynolds, who has pitted. Wow.
Yeah, Reynolds has come out quite a long way behind, and he was that lead media runner. That was absolutely breathless action. I'm not sure how you've talked for so long, to be quite honest. I'm really not sure. As I say, that could have been the break Limitless needed, being with them two being held up, but he's still 3.6 behind. In fact, that gap has closed. It was over 4 seconds at one point, so it has helped him.
It's only, we should remember, Joe. It's only you know, it's actually only 3.1 because it's Sierra that he's actually racing now, because Surprise has got 6 seconds. So it's Sierra is the gap that we need to watch between he and Limitless, and it's actually, well, now we're around 3.5 now, 3.4. So it's not actually the gap from Surprise to Limitless. It's the gap between Sierra and Limitless that we need to watch now because of Surprise's extra
That's what I'm on about.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm on about. It's about 3.8. I've not got it on leader. I've got it on individual gaps. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I'm not giving everyone false information here, as I think Sierra, I got a feeling he's not going to go for this move. If Sierra is smart and uses all the tools available, he'll find out Surprise has got 3 more seconds. I might just want to sit behind, because Surprise isn't going to go slow. He's not going to go slow, and he knows the gap to Limitless behind. He knows that if they don't battle, Limitless is going to be very hard for him to close the second gap. They're all on the same tyres. It's probably not going to happen. So Sierra, if he's smart, will just sit behind, keep his deployment, and just not go for it. But he's got to be careful himself. He doesn't pick another penalty up. I'm just going to quickly check, see if he's had any more warnings. He's had 1 more since his penalty. So he's got 1 more to play with 8.5 laps to go. So he can be careful, but Surprise has to try and go for it, but it's just not going to happen. There's no way he's going to get a break unless Sierra makes some sort of drastic error, which, well, considering the way this race is run, Andy, you wouldn't bet against it, would you? Oh no, Limitless.
Well, that ends it. That ends his charge, doesn't it? That really does end Limitless's get the words out. Limitless's charge. There we go. He's 3rd position. And it looks like it will stay 3rd position now as a result of that one, and that all but ends any hope of him stopping Sierra and Surprise further up the road. It's looking very good for Sierra now, and he's actually going on the attack, and he's going to breeze past Surprise on the run down to turn 1, and he is back through up into 1st place. And I don't know if you spotted this on my timeline a few weeks ago, or your timeline, Joe. I'm going to have to get the Brazilian music out again if he does win the race. I've got this thing going now where if a Brazilian driver wins an ILR, I need to get the Senna music out. So it will be out, it is on standby if required. And on lap 20 out of 27, it's looking rather likely as Sierra leads Surprise with Limitless fading out of the contest.
What you should get, and this is better, you know the 2014 World Cup? Get the ITV intro music. That was fantastic. And it's Brazilian. It works. Exactly.
Brazil.
Everyone knows it.
Yeah, we love that.
Put that on standby. It'd be a lot better. Yellow sector 2 is Reynolds. Oh, no, he's round the wrong way. I'm not sure how that's happened, because that is a long way. He's done that a long way from anything. So maybe he's made contact with someone. I'm not too sure. We didn't see it, but he's retired on track as well. That is a bit of a bizarre place to go off.
I caught it last minute because my controller disconnected, but he did have a moment there. I'm having a look at Hyde. I'm having a look to see if Rhythms has got any front wing damage. I can't see any on Hyde's car, so I don't think so. From his point of view, maybe he has dropped it himself. Looking at BRL Bruno as well, no sign of any wing damage there. So yeah, I think he might have dropped it on his own, as Bastic has got ahead of João Pedro into that first chicane down at the first corner, and he is through and up into 5th position, and João Pedro drops back to 6th as Rosberg continues his charge back up through the field, and he's onto the tail of João Pedro and Basnik, and he's on fresher tyres as well. Not much fresher, and as you've mentioned already, Joe, the tyre deg is not high around here, so having a couple of lap fresher tyres isn't really that much of a big deal around here, is it?
No, not at all. It's been that way for forever in league racing. It doesn't really make much difference. An undercut is quite big, but you wouldn't say tyres are massively under pressure. I mean, the thing you're more worried about as a driver is your fuel usage and, well, nowadays your deployment as well. That is the things which are going to be affecting you. Leopard picking up a time penalty there, which, considering the group he's in, well, he's at the back of it, but any overtakes he does now, he's got to hope the cars ahead have penalties. So yeah, that is the two things you worry about. As Surprise has managed to save, speaking of deployment, he's saved a lot behind Syrah, so he's got to hope Syrah picks up a penalty there. There's no way Surprise is going to gap 3 seconds without a major mistake. It shouldn't happen on this track, especially considering the pace difference is non-existent between the two. You wouldn't say one is quicker than the other, would you, Andy?
No, certainly not at the moment. I mean, it really is hard to split them. I actually find it absolutely astonishing that Syrah does this on a pad. I honestly cannot believe that he's able to do this. It honestly feels like not so long ago that we were watching Surprise stick with the flying fin on a pad about 2 or 3 games ago, or game cycles ago, and then now we're seeing Syrah stick to Surprise with a pad himself. It's never ending, the cycle, and it's incredible. And I think Surprise has actually said it himself that he believes, he actually said it in a post-race interview once, he believes that Syrah's quicker on a pad than he ever was, and that's quite the compliment to give someone. But at the moment, Surprise leading the championship. He has been the more consistent driver over the course of the season, but Syrah, you just have to give him plenty of plaudits for being so quick on that pad as they make their way around that final corner now. Is Surprise going to be close enough this time round to make the move? He's certainly going to go for it. He has to go for it now. He's in mode 4 and he's going to breeze past that Alfa Romeo with no problem at all and take the lead on the racetrack, but of course still behind Syrah because he's an extra 3-second time penalty as Syrah overcooks it into the first corner. The rear wanted to come round on him, it didn't quite come round, and Surprise now has a slight buffer of 6/10 and a glimmer of hope of breaking that DRS, but as you've already mentioned, it's very unlikely, and things are looking good providing Syrah just keeps it on the road and doesn't gather any more time penalties, Joe.
Yes, I say it was a bit of a concern, that mistake from Syrah there, but I just don't understand how he does this thing in the pad, because it's always been an excuse really the past couple of years. Oh, it's a wheel game, we're never going to compete, and he just does this, and we've seen his setup as well. He's posted his setup on Twitter. It's just him sitting on his bed on a pad. He's not even on a chair or anything. He's not even comfortable. I wouldn't be comfortable sat bolt upright. I just don't understand. I mean, hats off to him. I mean, if he could have a wheel in his room, if he was as quick as this, there's been no doubt he'd be qualifying for at least the pro draft. It's such a shame that, just due to, I think, logistic reasons, he can't have one. His room looks so tiny, it's just not going to happen. But I think he's just happy where he is, considering the performance he's put in his Surprise pits in the fastest lap of the race. States his intentions to try and pull away, but it's not happening. It's just remarkable that he's just able to do that. I just sit here as someone who's pretty decent on a pad. I mean, considering all the people which play this game, you go top 1% on pace. It's that top 1% which are just ridiculous, though. I just look at him and think, I can't do that. I look at some of the laps he does, I just can't do that. I'm on the same device. I've got no excuse. I just can't do it. I can load a setup. It's just not going to happen. So hats off to him. The practice and the absolute raw skill to be able to do what he does. Yeah, you just can't fault it at all. It's
just astonishing. It really is. I mean, I raced on a pad, maybe once on F1 2010. Ever since then, I moved to a wheel, and now I couldn't go back to a pad. I really couldn't do it. I couldn't keep the thing on the racetrack if I tried to go back to a pad now. No word of a lie. As that's why I stick to a mic these days. The Surprise picks up another 3-second time penalty, and that all but ends it now for him. As look at this from Rosberg on the inside of João Pedro, out of nowhere, going into Ascari. Where did that come from? He's caught João Pedro napping and takes the place. Now Leopard is gaining as well, and he fancies some of this. I've been keeping a close eye on this little battle, while we've been discussing Sierra's incredible pace on the pad, it's just been simmering in the pot, waiting to boil over. And Sierra Rosberg has made a beautiful move there on João Pedro, and that has just set off the fireworks, I think, because it's all about to kick off going down this start-finish straight. Here comes Leopard now. We know he's a feisty driver. We know he'll go for any move. He thinks about going to the inside. At the same time, João Pedro did the same, and Leopard round the outside of João Pedro through turn 1 has incredibly made it work. How did he find the space there to go through? I'll never know, and João Pedro drops to 8th place now. Two stunning moves, one from Rosberg, one from Leopard, and João Pedro, the Brazilian, drops to 8th place. Wonderful stuff from the two drivers in front of him. Incredible stuff there, Joe.
Yeah, I think João Pedro is absolutely shocked that two drivers have been able to do that. I didn't even know Leopard could get the car stopped in time. It looked like he wasn't even going for the overtake. It just looked so accidental. You know, he just braked at what would be his normal point, and so João Pedro was just a bit boxed in there. He tried to, to go to the inside for some reason with the two cars in front. There's no way he's going to get through. Compromised himself, and that was absolutely beautiful by Leopard. João Pedro just a bit shocked. He just dropped off the back of this now trio of cars, battling P5. I'm not even going to look at the penalties for these three. Let's just enjoy the action whilst Lasses, I think Sarah's got by surprise. Yeah, that's a simple overtake. Nothing to rave about there. As Bastek, he's kept hold of P5 for a remarkable amount of time, but Rosberg now, is he going to be able to make an overtake? He is gaining on Bastek in front. Is he going to go for it at late dive? No, he does think better of that. Leopard a bit too far behind, and the battle resumes between the four of them. Rosberg a little bit wide there through the second part of the chicane, gives Bastek a little bit of breathing space. Yeah, I feel so sorry for João Pedro because there's nothing he could really do about either situation, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just incredible overtake. Infamous has caught up on Limitless a little bit. That's one we've not talked about.
Yeah, and I'm not sure on the penalty situation there. If you don't mind, Joe, could you maybe
let's have a look.
Inform us and tell us what Limitless count is, and then Famous. I'm pretty sure Limitless only has the one as things stand.
Yeah, one each. Infamous with that lap 11. He managed to he was on no warnings before that. He got 3 on that lap.
Wow.
He is going to want to forget that.
Yeah.
That is an absolute shocker.
Yeah, it was that one lap really that all fell away when he went through the gravel trap and then cut the corner of Ascari to give him that penalty. A real shame. It's the Tifosi will be going home not so happy, but I think they will be satisfied of what their other man is doing, the Alfa Romeo man I should say, and the other manufacturer from Italy. Going to win the race. Surprise is just retaking the lead, by the way, on this track, but we all know the situation on penalties there. I'm not going to get excited about that. I'm excited about this battle though, and Bastek, who, as you mentioned, Joe, had been holding on for so long. He ain't holding on anymore, because on the final lap, Rosberg's found a route through up into 5th place, and the staunch resistance from Bastek has come to a close, and through goes Sergio Rosberg. The overtaking masterclass continues from the Racing Point driver, and it's all falling apart for Bastek, because here comes Leopard round the outside through Curva Grande, and on the inside now into the chicane, gets his way through, and that's a shame for Bastek because it had been going all so well, and now he drops to 7th place and into the clutches of João Pedro. What a shame there, as Leopard lights up the rear tyres going through the exit of the first Lesmo and just about keeps it on the island, very nearly repeating Lewis Hamilton's 2009 Italian Grand Prix final lap there and bouncing into the wall. Wasn't to be, but we need to go up to the front of the field because Surprise is going to win it on the racetrack, but because of the time penalties he has got, he is not going to win the race. It's going to go to the man you see in second. Sira comes across the line, takes the victory.
Big cut off there, Andy.
Yeah, I've cut off again, but there you go. Sira, João Pedro do Brazil. Oh, sorry, no, not João Pedro. Gabriel Pedro do Brazil takes the victory here in Italy. There you go. There is the music once again. I'm not going to do this every week, but I do love it. And there is the victory for Gabriel Pedro. He kept it on the island. He didn't pick up as many penalties as Veloci Surprise, and he is the victor today. It's been quite the battle between the two in the championship. It's another strike for Sira, having won in Hungary. Didn't quite go his way last time out in Belgium, but he's back to winning ways today, and he takes A strong victory. It's a shame I cut out there. It was all building up to something, but it wasn't to be. But there he is. Gabriel Pedro takes the win. Surprise second in the end, and TRL Limitless third. I've got to ask you, Joe, who's your driver of the day?
Driver of the day, you'd be hard pressed actually. You know, you could pick one of the top three, definitely, but Rosberg, 12th to 5th. Considering his start and his just raw pace as well, it would be my go-to for driver of the day, definitely. Yeah, no penalties as well.
Yeah, that's a very good point as well, because as you mentioned at the top of the show, Joe, it is a track where penalties are incredibly likely, and only 2 drivers in the field failed to pick any up, and they were, of course, CRL Rosberg and who was it? Bastic, I think it was. No, Mursel, sorry.
Mursel, yeah.
Mursel, yeah, didn't pick up any penalties. But there's the final results from the Italian Grand Prix. It's Vicira, the pad master from Brazil, taking the victory in the end as a result of the time penalties ahead of Veloci Surprise in second. TRL Limitless, he was third. He picked up a penalty himself. Without it, he might have got ahead of Surprise. And Famous, he came home fourth. Lap 11, as we touched on, was the lap that defined his afternoon. CRL Rosberg, driver of the day for you, Joe. Driver of the day for me as well in 5th. What a recovery from him, as he always seems to do. Leopard, he came home in 6th position. A bit of an up and down day for him. Viral Zhao Pedro came home in 7th. Bastic, it was going oh so well for him until that final lap. He was 8th. Mursel brought the car home 9th. And Dralex, the Canadian driver, gets the final point in 10th. BRL Bruno, he was 11th. Hyde was 12th. EVR Reynolds didn't finish. You know, the WR Verstappen feisty terror overkills who overcooked it going through the second chicane. So that rounds off the order in round number 15 of the championship. 14, sorry. I think it's time now for us to go to the podium interviews. I'm going to try and invite some people in. Usually James invites them. I'm going to see if
God, Jeb, forgot this is a thing. I could have done that for you.
No problem.
How are you doing it now? I can hear you scrolling through your pad.
Yeah, I've even got them all on my friends list. Surprise, yes. I've got Sierra, yes. Limitless, where are you? Have I got? He usually appears offline. Is he there? No, I don't know. So there's 2
Just invite him through the lobby.
Yep, I'll do that right now. And we can get everyone in here. Let's get Limitless in. There we go. And that will be everyone. I'm just going to go straight into it. I'm going to start things right now with Gabriel Pedro do Brasil, who picks up...
Tick the box, by the way.
...the victory. And wait, do I need to tick any boxes? No, I'm okay, aren't I?
No, everyone who joins does.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Okay. Anyway, Gabriel Pedro, well done. Congratulations. Another victory following up from that one in Hungary at the Italian Grand Prix. Talk us through it. Fine battle out front between you and Surprise, but in the end it all came down to who had the better discipline on the corner cuts into those pesky chicanes, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, GG to Josh in the battle. And actually I won the race, I think in 2 occasions. First one was in the start, because I gained into position, which was actually probably the best thing I could do in that moment. And when Infamous spun in the second stint, because he automatically took Limitless out of the battle as well, because he just lost TRS. So in my opinion was the 2 moments which was the key of the race. And I just tried to stay with Josh with that, with changing positions, slipstreaming, don't get penalties, don't crash, don't do nothing stupid. Because I was just focusing more on just maintaining the second place in the championship than just fight for the title, because it's more than 60 points gap, I think. So I was just trying to do a clean race with no dumb things. And fortunately, everything happened well in the end.
Yeah, well, it was a phenomenal start, wasn't it? You spoke about that, making those 2 positions off the line. You know, just it's such a long run down to that first corner, but you know, you got punchy into the first turn, and yeah, it really did set you on your way for the victory. So you said that was your key moment, but you know, this track in general, is this a track you enjoy? Is this a track you felt good coming into, Sierra? Because I remember you said about Hungary, it wasn't one you felt you could go well at. How did you feel about this one today?
Oh, Hungary, sorry. Italy is one of my favorite tracks. Not one of the fastest in terms of pace and stuff like that, but it's a good track to drive. It's fun to drive there because of the big straights, the overtaking spots, and etc. So we just have something to do in this track instead of just staying the train, which you can't pass. Instead of Hungary, you can pass in this track. And yeah, I think because of that, it's one of my most favorite tracks of the calendar.
Okay, well, congratulations on the win, Sarah. I'm going to have to apologise because I tried to do the, the tema de Victoria, or whatever you call it. I tried to do it and then my mic cut out as soon as I tried to do it. But, I got some of it in. But congratulations anyway on the victory. Has Surprise joined us? Josh, are you there? Yes, he is there. Good.
Yep.
Well, talk us through that one. I presume you'll be pretty disappointed in the end after that one. A few too many time penalties costing you in the end. You were first on the road coming up to the line, but time penalties in the end costing you, especially after qualifying on pole. But still looking good in the championship, so it's not all bad.
Yeah, I can't really complain too much. I did barely any practice really compared to what I'd normally do. So yeah, it definitely showed, and I'm not going to complain about anything. I think I've invalidated 3 of my quali laps, which I never usually do, so yeah, it was just annoying. But still managed to get pole, just about. And then onto the first few laps of the race, I used all my ERS trying to get Sarah out of the DRS window. He got back in anyway, so that was a pointless thing to do from me. And then after the pit stops, it was just, I knew, I think I had 6 seconds of penalties and Sarah had 0. And yeah, I didn't really know what to do. I knew maybe he could get 1 penalty, but I knew he wasn't going to get 6 seconds. And then when I got 9 seconds, yeah, it was just over from there. Nothing much to say, really.
So, do you think, I know it's hindsight's a wonderful thing, but do you think perhaps without doing what you did at the start, first couple of laps, blitzing the ERS, things would have turned out any differently? Or do you think, it was always going to, shuffle itself back out and be a reset, I should say, after the pit stop phase?
It could have been slightly different, but 9 seconds of penalties is 9 seconds.
Yeah.
It's nothing can really change that. Maybe, I think I got 1 or 2 warnings, trying to push away, maybe. So maybe I would have got maybe 1 or 2 less warnings, but yeah, I still would have got the time penalties anyway. So yeah, not much of a difference.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think that's a very fair assessment there from Veloci Surprise, who finished second in today's Grand Prix. Let's have a word now with TRL Limitless, who's back in amongst the podium again. JD, your thoughts on that one today? 3rd place. It's where you started, I believe, the race as well. But perhaps not the greatest start initially, but you recovered well and came home in 3rd place. What's your thoughts on today's result?
Yeah, first of all, well done to Sarah and Surprise and P1, P2. Yeah, coming into this one, Monza is not really a track I enjoy or normally had good pace on, but for some reason in quality I seemed to have pretty good pace in practice. I think my PB in practice was like an 18.1 or 18.0 or something, so I was pretty happy with the qualifying, just couldn't do the perfect lap. And yeah, at the start, I knew Sarah normally gets a really, really good start, so I pretty much assumed I was going to lose a position there. And yeah, honestly, was really, really comfortable in the first stint, just saving my ERS and fuel. Pitted the same lap as Sarah and Surprise, and managed to stay in their DRS as well. Infamous was just in front of me after the pit stop, and yeah, DRS in this game is just so crucial because you can just work together to save fuel in ERS, and Infamous spun out in front of me, which made me lose the DRS zone of Surprise and Sarah. And yeah, since they were just working together with the ERS and fuel, I just lost touch of them, and to the end of the race I was actually just trying to be consistent not to get any penalties, and yeah, P3 is the best I could do from there. So yeah, a bit annoyed because I really wanted to fight for the win. I felt I could have done that if I stayed in the DRS, but yeah, considering the run of league races, well, recently, a few races ago, I was getting back to form again, so yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, I suppose. Actually, speaking about qualifying, you said you were looking very good in practice. Would it be fair to say that things were looking very good on that final lap until the second Lesmo? Looked like you went a little bit too wide, got on the AstroTurf, too greedy. Is that what cost you time on that final run?
Yeah, well, my 18.4, I was 4 temps down on my PB in the last sector. Yeah, I did I think a 26.7 last sector when it's normally a 3 or 2 my best. So yeah, I was on a really, really good lap, and then tried to play it cautious, and then ended up just going too deep into Ascari on my lap, and yeah, the lap before I did the 18.4 twice, and yeah, my sixes was like round the other way. So, but yeah, it's a really hard track to hook up. So being near the front of the grid was definitely a good thing. I get my quality back and just my race pace back and everything. So yeah, I'm pretty happy to do that here, and hopefully I can just keep up this momentum for the next few races now.
And you must have been a bit disappointed with that late race penalty, because without it, I think you would have been second actually. With Surprise getting 9 seconds, so that was a slight shame, that one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit annoying, but I'm not really bothered about that. I want to beat people on track, not just through track penalties or anything like that. So yeah, I don't really care about getting P2. I want to beat them on track, and yeah, that's the only thing I'm disappointed about. If Infamous didn't spin out there, I think I could have stayed with them and we could have had a really good battle actually. So I was feeling really good, but it is how it is. Maybe in next game it will change with the DRS thing and everything. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and yeah, just looking forward to the next one now.
Okay, well, congratulations on P3, JD. Congratulations on the return to form. I've got to go to Joe then, who's joined me in the commentary box tonight. It's been great to have you. Joe, have you got anything to ask the drivers? Anything you'd like to add following today's race?
Not really. You've covered everything, I think. How's the feeling ahead of Singapore then? We can ask that. Collective feeling.
Go on then. Someone take it away. How are we feeling? No?
Good.
Nobody? Go on, Josh, then. On you go.
Singapore's pretty much a wheel track. So hopefully Cyrus slow, so I can beat him.
That's going to come back to haunt you.
Syra, do you concur?
My worst track in the game.
What he said?
Just telling.
Syra, do you think that's correct?
I say it's my worst track in the game.
Okay, well there you go then. There you go. Well, that sums it up then. and JD, Singapore, is it somewhere you run well?
Never done it on this game yet. So we'll have to wait and see. So, yep.
Okay,
I haven't even touched it yet. So
the bookies' odds have been slashed on a surprise victory, shall we say? Anyway, well, there we go, folks. That rounds it off then for the Italian Grand Prix. The European leg of the ILR season is all over. Be sure to join us. I think we have a week break next week, folks. We do, in fact. So it'll be a couple of weeks' time before you see us for the Singapore Grand Prix under the lights. That's all from me. I've been Andy. It's been great to have Joe alongside us tonight in the commentary box. And that's all from the three guys on the podium. Well done to them. We'll see you in a couple of weeks for Singapore. Good night.